Hey there, YouTube. Woodland Docs here with the occasional upload. um, I am back with a quintet of deck profiles all in one. Smash it together, see how long this goes. Hopefully it works. I don't know. If you guys have missed it, I've started a podcast with some friends from locals, the Deck Check Vanguard podcast. We are being uploaded on YouTube here on the Woodland Docs channel, Spotify, Apple, Amazon, you name it, for the rest of the platforms. So we have a Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it, page at DeckCheckVGPod. Check us out there. I did promise this in episode 3. Episode 3 probably going to release right alongside with this deck profile video, so they'll both go up. Hopefully you enjoy both. If you just enjoy the podcast, thanks for listening. Go back, check out the first two. We got more coming. It's a bi-weekly podcast. If not, if you like the Vanguard stuff I do, watch that, because I put a lot of it out there. So with that, we're going to get into it. We're going to have a quintet of deck profiles. Like I said, this is on the Quintessential Quintuplets. One of each nation came out with Illusionless Strife in the English format. Japan got it a while ago. We get it now, so we get the sloppy seconds. But that's okay, because I'm having fun with each of these. They're not good for the most part, but you'll see. I'm going to give you guys a nation by nation breakdown. Let's get into it. Going to the card store, gonna buy a lot of packs. All right, let's get started with Keter Sanctuary. We have the same starter for all the nations, so we'll go over that real quick, real fast. That, the grade 1 on the ride line, and the crest, the grade 1 on the ride line has one weird quirk to it for Keter, so I wanted to start with it. It's also my least favorite of the decks, I think. Through the playtesting I've done and through the building I've attempted to do anyways. So we have our starter for the quintuplets right here. Same starter effect you're used to. Go second, draw a card. The grade 1 of the ride line right there. We have a little quirk here, like I mentioned. When when you ride, you get your crest. We'll go over the crest in a second. But this lets you turbo up and put a quintuplet into your memory zone, which is what your crest makes your order zone, makes it a memory. So you can go ahead and just turbo that up. We'll see when we get to the grade 3 skill why that's important. But it helps. It would definitely help in all the other ones, but Keter gets it just because of its quirky Vanguard skill / win con. The secondary skill in all of them is gain 5k shield on top of the additional 5, or the original 5. We have our crest here. Again, this is shared across all the nation's decks. Its main skill is to Soul Blast 1. Look to cards equal to your Vanguard's grade from the top of your deck. Search a quintuplet, put it into memory. You're obviously looking for unique names here. In Keter, you really don't care. But once we run out of soul, we run out of soul. So if you're going to last long, which in the current meta you don't, but actually most most of the time in my Vanguard life, you don't get to like turn 6. So you're going to have your 3 soul from riding up. I've put cards into my decks to get extra soul. Persona Ride will build you extra soul. So you're not going to get so far to where you're out of it. It's just if you're facing something like Prison that takes soul, or if you were to pick cards in your couple of flex spots that you have, I don't advise using cards that require soul. But anyways, return the rest of the cards to the bottom of the deck in any order. Now, we get to the fun stuff. We get to our grade 1. So our grade 1 that is not a part of the ride line, we have the... I'm bringing this up close for the names, just so I get these right. The Day of School Festival, Yotsubo Nakano. So she is a top 3 searcher. So it's not that great. Top 3 doesn't come up that often. In V, I never had luck with that. In D, I haven't had luck with that so far. That's not too many cards to mill to look through, so not the best in my opinion. And then of course we have, if your memory has 3 or more, this unit gets 2k, so it is a nice 10k booster. The search, like I said, it's not that strong, but a 10k booster, or if you're desperate, put it in the front row, 10k attack, not that bad. So after her, we have our grade 2 of the ride line. So this is the non-triple R of the ride line. We have the Bride's Letter, Yotsuba Nakano. So again, this is a searcher. This one lets you look at the top 7. So this is a whole lot better when ridden top 7. And then this rear guard effect is if a card was put into memory, this turn gets 5k. If you have 5 or more unique names, it gets 10k instead of 5. So this could be a 15 or 20k front row unit. as a rear guard, that's cool and all, but the Vanguard seal is obviously more beneficial, more applicable to what you're trying to do with these decks. So try to play her if you don't have the triple R. 20k in the front row can't be denied. I don't know. From there, we're going to go into, take her away. We're going to go into, oh, that was sloppy. Not the Shining Smile. Shining Smile Yotsuba Nakano. So, when this unit's attack hits, if your Vanguard is the Quintessential Quintuplets Yotsuba Nakano, counterblast 1 and put a quintet from drop on the bottom of the deck, which you're going to see as a common theme. All these cards have common themes except for the Vanguard and the 7 or more unique names on the order cards. But this is, again, a common skill, putting back 1 from drop. But this one specifically says, search your deck up to 1 quintuplet, put it to memory, shuffle the deck. If your memory has 5 or more, I can draw a card. So this, again, is turbo on just getting quints to the memory. This is, however, the easiest deck to get unique names because of the direct searches. So you're able to, well, granted, the attack hits. You're able to spend your counterblast on that, getting the unique names first, and then whatever comes. But having the unique names is key across all the quintets. Or quintuplets. I keep calling them quintets, whatever. They might do music. I don't know. Then before we go over our Vanguard, we do have the order. As I mentioned, the orders all have similar effects based on the 3 or 5 or more. Here we have 3 or more unique names, gets 5k until end of turn. 5 or more is countercharge. And 7 or more for Keter. This is the Memories of School Festival for Yotsuba Nakano. Says, choose one of your quintuplet rearguards, and it gets when this unit attacks. This unit performs drive checks at the end of the battle. Put this into memory. So that helps you accelerate putting stuff into memory, helps build hand size. Hopefully you draw into some defensive units or into one of your flex cards. I'll go over my choices here in a second. But that helps you build your memory faster. You might be able to, under the right conditions, get to the cheese con. And I call it the cheese con because that's how you win with this deck. We have the Quintessential Quintuplets Yotsuba Nakano. So this is our Vanguard for the deck. It's another top 7 searcher. When ridden, you can reveal 2 cards. Yes, yep, up to 2 quintuplets. 1 goes to hand, 1 goes to memory. Shuffle your deck. Now we have 3 other Vanguard skills here. We have, when she attacks, counterblast 1, and this unit gets 5k for every 2 quintuplets in your memory. If your memory has 6 or more, draw a card. So, similar to Pure Light's front row skill, except this is just her. 5k for every 2. We're seeing that more often. Blang Meyer, for example, also came out in this set. We see that. So, nice little power creep, and draw is always good. When this unit does attack and hit a Vanguard, you can choose a quintuplet from your drop, put it to memory. Again, we're trying to speed up, we're trying to turbo, we're trying to cheese. The ultimate cheese, Queen Gouda, these are brides. At the beginning of your turn, if your memory has 7 or more quintuplets with unique names and a total of 14, you win. Weevil's not here to throw it overboard. Exodia's not going goodbye. That would be the ultimate flex, is to win by that condition. I think that there's no shot in a actual tournament, even at your locals, unless you're both playing goofy decks, that you ever get there. We'll see. I'm going to try to make it happen just for fun. So that's a quick rundown of the Keter Quints. Now we have, in each of these decks, you're going to have 6 flex spots. When I say flex spots, I mean not quintuplets. So we have 7 quintuplets for each nation that can be put into the deck. We have 4 of each. So we're going to have 4 of the starter, 4 of the grade 1 ride line, 4 of the grade 2 ride line, 4 of the grade 1 not in the ride, 4 of the grade 2 triple R, 4 of the Vanguard, and if I didn't say 4 of the order, 4 of the order. So that gives us 28, because we want to focus on the quintuplet name and the quintuplet race. So you're going to have 28 out of your 34 spots that aren't triggers and PGs spoken for. Guaranteed. If you don't build it like that, I'm not sure what you're doing. But we have 6 flex spots in each nation's deck. Most of them I took the easy way out, because there was no cards released outside of the quintuplets that say, hey, put something to memory or anything of that nature. And that's what your win con's based on, is how many unique names are there. Nothing says, hey, swap something from memory or anything like that. So most of these I did take what I feel is the easy way out, but I feel like these are very efficient uses of your spots. So we in set two got these lovely, lovely cards that I just call order searchers. I don't know if that's the community term, order cyclers, whatever it may be, but this is Obligatory Dragon. Essentially, discard a card, grab a non-Regalis piece from deck, order, put it to drop, activate it from drop, and then you can put it to the back of the bottom of the deck. So we have a grade 3 order, which we desperately need if you have somehow put the only one you've seen into memory, or if you chose to put the only one you've seen so far into memory. If you just haven't seen one at all, then this card is the easy way out to get your order. Now, while you may want that every single turn, and you may have gotten yours in your memory early on by some other method, that's fine. What I did was I used my other flex spot. So I run this at 3, because like I mentioned, we have 6 open spots that are not quintuplets. I also run a Warrior's Rest. So we are not utilizing energy for anything in this deck aside from the potential EB7 draw, right? So I'm going to fill my flex spot, my other flex spot, with the Warrior's Rest card. So we're going to be energy blasting. We're going to be giving power. You're rear guards, aren't you? During the battle, this unit is boosted, yes. And then at the end of the turn, I can draw a card if I have 5 or more units, which, unless my board has been wiped, I'm hopefully going to have 5 or more units because I'm just spamming quintuplets everywhere. So we are using our energy for something, we're gaining power, and we're drawing a card again. So draw power, power, and a use for energy. We can search this out if we happen to have an early, let's just say we have our board full early and we're on grade 2. We can't play the grade 3 order yet. We're going to go ahead, we're going to call it out. Or if we've managed to last forever and we've already used our orders or they've been damaged or whatever, the quintuplet order, we can search for Warrior's Rest, and it can still help us with an alternative way to put pressure on our opponent. Remember, if the grade 2's attack hits a Vanguard, its skill pops off, so you can give it the 10k. It's a nice way to utilize parts that aren't being utilized and buff the parts that are. So with that, Keter has this cheese con. Don't think you're ever getting there. You may win via regular damage. You may just get really lucky with your quint searches, but it's my least favorite because it's an extreme high roll deck and I don't see anything happening with it. There's definitely going to be no support, in my eyes anyways, for any of these decks in the future. So I think it's just for fun, for laughs. Have a great time if you do. But with that, I think we're going to go ahead and move on to the Brandt Gate version. Going to the card store, gonna buy a lot of packs. All right, so now we're here with the Brandt Gate version. This is Miku Nakano. So we are having the same starter as we did before. Go figure. Same effect. No biggie. Skip. All right. Crest, guys. It's upside down. Now it's not. But we have the same crest, same effect. Soul Blast, top 3, 2, 1, depending on your Vanguard cards. Put the rest of bottom in deck. 1 into memory. Next in the ride line, we have our same... I keep calling them the sad versions because most of them are black and white. I think maybe all of them are black and white. They have no color to the cards. It's the same thing. It gets you the crest when ridden upon, or when riding, and we get the extra 5k shield. Then we move on to our flavorful grade 1, flavorful, colorful thoughts to convey Miku Nakano. So again, this is a top 3 searcher, just like we had in Keter. But our second effect is also the same, actually. It's gain 2k if there is 3 or more quintuplets with different names in the memory. 10k booster, top 3 searcher. Same as Keter. Again, if you're desperate, throw it in the front row. If not, 10k booster makes a funny number. Your first grade 2 turn, it could be a 20k column. So the numbers do get better in Brandt. We'll see as we get on to the more impactful cards. Speaking of impact, we have... Boop. She's broken. We have Beyond the Dream Attained Miku Nakano. So this is another top 7 searcher. This is our ride line unit, just like we had in Keter. And then if your rear guard is returned to hand by your Vanguard's ability, so that's different than our Keter, it gains 5k. If we have 5 or more different quints, it gets 10 instead of 5. That clause is the same. It carries over through the nations, but there it says if your rear guard was returned to hand. So we'll see that when we get to the Vanguard, but that is a big power buff, and you'll love to see it. Then we have our Grade 2 Triple R from the set. This is Ideal Image Miku Nakano. If you guys can't tell by now, this is my favorite deck to play out of all of them so far because it's sleeved. I actually took PGs and triggers out of other decks, and I played this last weekend at locals, not in the tournament, but afterwards. Anyways, Ideal Image says when this unit is placed in the front row by your card's ability, which we'll see when we get to the Vanguard, Counterblast 1, put a Quint from drop to the bottom of the deck, choose one of your other rear guards in this column, restand it. If you have 5 or more, draw a card. So again, that 5 or more unique names clause carries over, except this one restands a column as long as you pay a counterblast, which is why did I not think of the word counterblast? Anyways, it's it's the same effect, or the same cost as we saw in Keter. Counterblast on the Grade 2 Triple R, except this one allows you to restand the unit behind it to create a whole column. And again, we saw the Grade 1 with the gains 10 or 5k if a rear guard was placed. So that can become a really big restanding column, or a big, really big second swing column, I should say. The back row rear guard to restand, the front row gets replaced. So we will go into the order card for Brandt next. We have the Memories of School Festival for Miku Nakano. So we have, so actually something I didn't mention in the Keter section. You play this if your Vanguard is that nation's quintuplet. And then choose up to 2 quintuplets with the same name from drop. Put 1 in the bottom of the deck, 1 to memory. So if you've been guarding with them, if they've been discard fodder for perfect guards or what have you, if you have 2 in there, or heck, if you want to get crafty and overcall, just to get yourself that extra quint with unique name once you have a second copy, this is the way to do it. 3 or more is choose one of your Vanguards gets 15k until end of turn, which is unique. 5 is countercharge, and 7 or more unique names is choose one of your Vanguards, then it gets all of your quintuplets on rear, get 5k. So again, going big numbers, we're going multiple attacks. We'll see here in a second. This is the deck where crits being checked can be deadly. Going on to the quintessential quintuplet, Miku Nakano herself. She's right there in all of her glory. Again, on the ride, top 7. Pick 2. 1 goes to memory, 1 goes to hand. Then, during your turn, if your memory has 6 or more quintuplets with a different name, your front row gets 10k, so passive Persona Ride minus the draw. Second ability is when this unit attacks Counterblast 1, choose up to 2 of your front row quintuplet rear guards, return them to hand, choose up to 2 quintuplet cards from your hand, and call them to open R. So as long as you have a Counterblast free, you get that guaranteed 4th and 5th attack. Unless you're low on cards, then you can maybe just do a column. Or if you already have your back row units there, you can call the Grade 2 Triple R, get yourself a restander in the back for, again, Counterblast heavy. But we'll see in my flex picks that I try to counteract that. So we do have a lot of attacks with a lot of numbers coming behind it. You want to run 8 crits here. You check a crit, and you put it on one of those really big rear guards after they perfect guard your Vanguard swing. Please, you're in for it. Or sorry, they're in for it. You're in for victory. They're in for trouble. Moving on to my flex picks though. So again, just like Keter, I don't see energy being used outside of EB7 to draw. So we have Satellite Repair from Divine Set 1. It is Energy Blast 4, a little steep, Countercharge 1. Like I said, we're going Counterblast heavy. You may be using 2 or 3 a turn. So having a Countercharger in there is great so that you can keep doing this. By the time you're going to be using Counterblast, you're on turn 3, so you're at 9 energy. So Energy Blast 4 isn't as drastic. It can hurt a little, but I mean, you got 2 of them built in, plus the 3 you gain every turn. The game's not lasting much longer than that. So if you do need Countercharge, you have consistent, reliable Countercharge and Satellite Repair. Outside of Satellite Repair, I also picked another order out of Divine Set 1. Or wait, are you set 2, little guy? No, you're set 1. So these are both from Set 1 of Divines. We have the Refueling Stand, which is Energy Blast only 2. This time, only 2. Look at the top 2 cards in your deck, choose a card from among them, put it to hand, and put the rest into soul. So this is to get us quintets or quintuplets in hand if we need them. Also to rebuild soul if the game is lasting, if you don't see Persona Ride. it's a nice way to kind of maybe just put another refueling stand in the soul because you know you're not going to need it, or put satellite repair in there because you're good on counterblast. You never know. So having extra soul in these decks does not hurt because you have the once per turn with the crest. So those are my 2 flex spots, 3 each. I didn't do the order searcher simply because I liked both of these orders. They gave me both good options. One's low cost, low reward. One's high cost, high reward for the way that the deck runs. So I just wanted to keep it at the orders and leave it there. I haven't really been burdened with them. If I get them early game and I don't need them, that's just my discard for ride fodder or perfect card fodder. So, but that is Miku Nakano, the Brandt Gate version of the Quintuplets deck. I think it's time to talk a little bit about Dragon Empire. Going to the card store, gonna buy a lot of packs. All right, here we are with Dragon Empire. So, look, same starter, draw a card, go second, do the thing. Hey, wait, what's that? You're gonna ride a grade 1 that has a specific ability? Get a crest. Soul Blast 1. Top cards, you know the drill. In our sad, colorless card of the nation, gets you the Crestwind Road, extra 5k shield. So, now that that's out of the way, we have our colorful grade 1. This is Stealth Mode Actress, Ichika Nakano. So, it has the word stealth in there. I'm not super big on crafting in Dragon Empire, but I know the keyword stealth is a thing. But nobody's going to play this. Because, yeah, it's the same thing, right? I tried just looking at that, seeing if there's any way to bend it. There's not. But if there's any deck that ever wants every card with the word stealth in it, you can bet the quintuplets are going to rise in the stock. But anyways, she has the same card effect as the other grade 1 rear guards. It is top 3 cards, not the best. Find a quint, go to memory. Then the 3 or more claws for an extra 5k power. Moving on to our grade 2s, we have the Star Actress returning from America because she hated it here, Ichika Nakano. So, this is your ride deck copy, top 7 searcher when ride is on the top of the grade 1. And then now this one is where the skill gets twisted a little bit, as we saw with the other nations. During a turn, if your opponent's vanguard was, or opponent's rear guard was retired, retire the vanguard. Screw it. If the rear guard is retired, it gets 5k, and then if there's 5 or more, it gets 10 instead of 5. So we still see that classic threshold and 10 replacing 5, but in this case, it's retired because that's what Dragon Empire likes to do. How are you going to retire that, you might ask? Well, I have answers for you. We have Mischievous Infatuation. Ooh, I thought it said Institution. Infatuation. What's mysterious or mischievous about that? Anyways, when this unit is placed on rear guard, if your vanguard is the Quintessential Quintuplets Ichika Nakano, counterblast 1, put a quint from drop to bottom of the deck. Hey, that sounds familiar. Except this time, choose one of your opponent's rear guards and retire it. If your memory has 5 or more, sounds familiar, draw a card. So this will get us to retire. Again, that plays off of the grade 1 skill that we just read, or sorry, the grade 2 skill that we just read. Yeah, that's a grade 2. And it fits the theme of Dragon Empire of retiring. If retirement is your thing, then boy, we get to the Vanguard, you're going to be happy. We have the Memories of School Festival for Ichika Nakano now. Everyone has a different recollection of this festival, and I'm just focused on the funnel cake, but whatever. The same 2 or more are going to drop claws, 1 to memory, 1 to bot deck. 3 or more. This time it is choose a rear guard, retire it. If you do not, draw. So sticking with the theme of the nation and the draw theme. 5 or more is countercharge. Sounds familiar. This time 7 or more unique names. Choose your vanguard and it gets until the end of the battle this unit is attacked. Your opponent cannot call sentinels and cannot play blitz orders. So gets around a lot of defensive mechanisms. So that's nice and all, but without extra crit on your vanguard, I don't see why it matters. Maybe you've pushed your opponent to 5 and then you get a big number. I don't know. I'm not really excited over that skill, but hey, it is what it is. And then we have the quintessential quintuplet herself, Ichika Nakano. Again, top 7 search on ride for 2, 1 to hand, 1 to memory. If your memory has 6 or more quints with different names, your opponent must guard with 2 or more cards, which I really like that. I love that. That's a great, especially if your numbers are low and you have your quint threshold, you're just wasting your opponent's cards, or they're taking the damage. And then if you give the no sentinel ability, then that means they can't just slap down a perfect guard when they have less than 2 cards in hand. It's wonderful. Its second ability, unless you attacks a vanguard, choose one of your opponent's rear guards, retire it, choose one of your quintuplet rear guards, and increase its attack by the attack of the retired unit. If you didn't retire anything, 10k. So you're playing something that has a lot of grade 3s. You can give a rear guard 13k, making it for 23k on its own before any other effects, anything gets applied. There's where your numbers are going to start building up. You don't necessarily get funny numbers in this. I've found so far. I mean, 33, that's pretty good if you get the 10k booster behind it, behind your rear guard. But I don't know. Looking at this, yeah. I mean, you have well, yeah, 33 if you have the non-triple R grade 2, the 10k booster behind it, and then you give it 13k from retiring. Yeah, so 33. I know we all love 28 and 33 being the magic numbers to force out more than one card. For your Vanguard, you're going to be doing that anyways. So I don't know exactly where this all comes together and gels, but I haven't played it enough to see it pay off. We'll see if it even does pay off. I don't know. Our flex spots here, I did get a little different. Instead of doing a 3-3 split, and this is not one of the nations where I just picked an order, I said, you know what, let me go through all my Dragon Empire extras and see what I can cook. So to start, we have this gentleman here, Drag Ritter Shihab. This is all the way back from Advance of Intertwined Stars. Yeah. When this unit is placed on R, it gets 5k until end of turn. That can help you with your numbers. 13k booster in front of, or sorry, behind of a 20k attacker in that grade 2. There's 33. You add on from the Vanguard skill to that. That gets to be a really big number. You apply any triggers you find over there, you'd have a really big crit coming, right? And then its second skill is when you ride from your deck, you can ride with, put this unit into your soul instead of discard, should this already be on rear guard. So if you want to early rush with it, or if you want to put it behind the Vanguard for a guaranteed swing, and then next turn you don't want to discard because your hand's low, or you have nothing but quints, why not, right? Figured it'd be a nice little alternative. Next up, we have the Static Crack Dragon. Basically, when this unit, another unit's placed on R, that placed unit gets 5k until end turn. I wanted help with the numbers. I really didn't feel like this deck had numbers. So this is AK boost. You have, let's just again use the grade 2 as an example. That would have 20k if you meet your Quint threshold. So that would be 25k plus this 8. There's your 33. There's your funny number. Anything applied to it from the Vanguard skill would then make it greater. It would be 43 to make it, if you make it more than 2 triggers to guard, or 46 if you retire a grade 3. So there's that. I think it's this, the way that I built this is all about getting those funny numbers. Unfortunately, I could not get anything to 69,000 power. That was the ultimate goal, but I just couldn't get there. Lastly, we have a 2 of. So everything's been 2 of so far in the flex spots here. We have Wild Bullet of the Storm Clifton. So, second skill, Null and Void. The word Eugene's in there. Eugene's Null and Void. We get it. But when the unit, when this unit attacks or boosts if your opponent's rear guard was retired by the ability of your Vanguard this turn, aka what she does, this unit gets 2k on the battle for each of your opponent's open rear guard spots. So again, this is designed to, if the board's been cleared already, you put it behind the triple R grade 2. If the board's somewhat there and you think, you know, you got a good chance of hitting triggers, you have this behind your other one. This could be what, 10, 12, 14. So if there's 3 open spots and this becomes a 14k booster, that's 14 boosting 20, 34. So it just gets over that funny number threshold before any of the retire add-ons. So I just wanted to make numbers happen with this deck. Again, 8 crits. It doesn't have a way to generate that on its own. And with the Vanguard's restrictions on guarding that can be applied, there's no other way to go. Fronts don't help. Draws really don't help you. So we'll stick with crits here. Yeah, how about some Dark States? You feeling it? Going to the card store, gonna buy a lot of packs. Dark States. Okay. Starter. Any questions? No? Good. Cool. Hey, you know what? Pop quiz, guys. What the crest do? No? You don't know? Too bad. Go back, watch the rest of the video. Grade 1. Guess what? It's in the right line. It gets you the crest. Gets you extra 5k shield. Moving on. I wish they would have varied it up a little bit. It really would. I really do. But we have our colorful, our happy grade 1. This is the opening act, Nino Nakano. Again, top 3 searcher, and when you meet your threshold of 3 or more unique Quint names in the memory, gets 2k. Also really wish these were varied, but hey, this one's not that impressive. Of all the generic skills that we see, the colorful grade 1s, as I've been calling them, are by far the least impressive. At least the grade 1 from the ride line gets you your crest. 10k booster though, maybe that's where it's at. I don't know. 10k shield versus 10k booster. There's your dilemma. Moving on to our not you. This is honeymooning with everyone because she is a little gold digger. Nino Nakano. When placed by rating from grade 1, top 7. Again, this is our ride line units. Then when the attack of your quintuplet does not hit, it gets 5k, and if you meet the 5 or more threshold in your memory, it gets 10k. So we're going to start seeing what this deck wants to do. It doesn't want to hit you, which is weird, right? I don't know. I don't get it, but whatever. When this unit does not hit, we can get power after we're done searching. Now, you would think this is called She Who Is Refreshed Nino Nakano, but it is not. It is called Love Means Full Speed Ahead Nino Nakano. Maybe she loves water. I don't know. Or maybe Full Speed Ahead is a boat reference and boats go on water. There's something there. Make your own joke. When this unit attack does not hit, again, you don't want to hit. If your Vanguard is the Quintessential Quintuplets Nino Nakano, counterblast 1, put a Quint from drop to bottom of the deck. Surprise. And stay in this unit. If you remember 5 or more, you can draw a card. So, if your Vanguard's not hitting, when this unit's not hitting, and I have the grade 3 Vanguard, I can restand. It's not just even on grade 2 if they block you. It's once you get to grade 3. If it doesn't hit, I can try again. So, I'm not seeing a way where this is beneficial, right? I'm spending Counterblast to just try the same thing again. Unless the whole goal is to wither down my opponent's hand, I'm not entirely sure. This is the one that I admittedly have not played with in an active match. This is also the one that I struggled the most with my flex picks, you'll see. So we have the order card. This is her memories of the school festival. She was probably focused on that water, I guess. Why is this next to me? Oh, that's the last deck. You guys see the last deck? It's still here. Anyways. Quality content. 3 or more for her. Choose a Quint from drop. Call it. Gets 5k. So board refilling. Again, if you're not hitting, I don't know why you need to refill your board. Because they're there. If you want them to not hit, wouldn't you just not swing with them? I'm not getting it. 5 is the counter charge. And 7 is choose one of your Vanguards. And it gets all of your front row quintuplet rear guards get 15k. So there's a power boost here, but your ability is if you don't hit. I don't know. Maybe it'll click, maybe it won't. But you can give your rear guards 15k, so you do get numbers. 25, just vanilla. If no other effects are popping off, I'm sure they will be, but 25k on those rear guards. And then we have our Vanguard, top 7 search when placed, 1 to memory, 1 to hand. And then we have, if your memory has 6 or more different quintuplets, this gets a crit. Wonderful, fantastic, beautiful even, right? You want an extra crit on your Vanguard. But when this unit's attack does not hit, counterblast 1, restand this unit, and reset the crit and drive to 1. You're completely playing against Dark State's Overtrigger. You're taking away your own skill. And if you hit any triggers, any critical triggers, don't apply it to her. I'm not understanding here, you guys. I guess the idea is swing here first with the 2 crit. Don't hit. If you checked any crits, put it on your rear guard that can restand itself. Then she swings again. If they block, put the triggers onto that rear guard, and then you have 2 swings of the rear guard that hopefully has triggers. I don't know. I don't get it. There's the extra copy. You can look at it. don't get this deck at all. Then my flex picks, I went back to the 3 and 3. This is the best. Okay, let's start here on. First, we have Avarice Rester. This is the Order Searcher, Cycler, Finder, Keeper, Losers, Weepers guy from set 2 for Dark States. Same effect as the one we saw for Keter. Go find one's not a Regalis piece, throw it to drop, activate from drop, put it back on bot deck. So that can get you your Quint order if you're in a struggle, if you're in a pinch. Or I have Affectionate Preparation. Okay, so I was on the train of thought, the choo-choo, the brain choo-choo, if you will, of using my energy for something else. So we have Energy Blast 2. Choose one of your vanguards and it gets, when this unit attacks, hits a vanguard, choose a card from Soul and call it to R. So Soul is very precious in this deck. That's a big negative for this. But if we're worried about board wipe decks, if we're worried about not being able to call back from drop with the effects that we read earlier, this can be a way to help you fill your board back up. I don't see when you're going to want to use it. I just wanted another order that Avarice can search. Not sure this is going to stay in the deck for very long, if at all. Hey everybody, post-recording and current illness docs here to tell you that this card was just a really bad idea. It has no place in the deck. I replaced it with Steam Artist Puanum, who's on the screen right now. I don't get this entire nation deck. I do not understand the Dark States Quintuplets deck. If anybody has a better idea, please let me know. I'm just a little bit lost with it. But that said, we're going to move on to the last, but not least, in fact, probably the strongest. Yeah, I'm going to say strongest, in Stoicheia. Going to the card store, gonna buy a lot of packs. Alright, last but not least, Stoicheia. If you didn't catch on to the theme, then you don't know why the top of my head is missing. If you caught on to the theme, you know why the top of my head is missing. I had the idea and I had to do it. Anyways, guys. And maybe I'm just calling this deck a no-brainer? I wasn't, but that works, so I'll keep it. Speaking of no-brainers, starter, you know, it's a no-brainer. Guess what happens next? The crest, no-brainer. You know what happens. And our colorless, emotionless, depressed, grade 1 from the red line gets us our crest, our extra 5k shield. Now that's out of the way, we get a little bit of color in our lives, but no more variety. We have our top of the deck, 3 search, quintuplet, memory, extra 2k if you meet your threshold of unique names. Why am I still going over these? You guys know what the deal is. We get to the fun start. The fun start, the fun part, the fun fart. 32-year-old man makes a fart joke. Cool. That's why I'm on the internet. We have Big Appetite Itsuki Nakano. So, I like food. This may be why this is my favorite deck. But, not favorite, but strongest. Favorite's my Brandt deck. But anyways, she is our ride deck, top 7 searcher, just like the rest. Then her way to get 10k or 5k, depending on how many quints you have, when your Vanguard attacks. So it's just when your Vanguard attacks. Nothing funky about it, right? Obviously the 5 or more gets you 10k instead of 5k, but this is just when your Vanguard attacks. And your Vanguard's gonna attack every turn. You know it will. So no cost, high reward. Vanguard's just gonna swing. Next up, we have our Triple R Grade 2. This is when your Quintessential Quintuplet Itsuki Nakano is stood by card's ability. Counterblast 1, put a card from drop to the bottom of the deck. That's a quintuplet. Surprise, surprise. Choose one of your quintuplets, and he gets 10k until end of turn. If your memory has 5 or more cards, draw a card. So fleeting love affair here. I have a love affair with food, which is sad. But aside from that, we it's just when your Vanguard restands, give someone 10k. So you can give it to her if she hasn't swung it. You can give it to the other rear guard, you can give it to the Vanguard. This is power. These are numbers. Then our order. Now, I should preface this by saying that is the most important get back from drop to bottom of deck quintuplet out of all the nations. And we'll see why here. But we have our order card. She remembers the school festival in a different way. We have our same 2 or more same name copies in the drop. Our skill, 1 to memory, 1 to bot. 3 or more, we just draw a card. 5 or more, we countercharge. 7 or more unique names, your Vanguard gets an additional drive check. So if you're getting cheeky and you have this freestanding Vanguard that we'll see here in a second, you can do a lot of fun things, right? If your Vanguard gets an additional drive check and it's swinging twice, we'll read her ability here in a second. But that additional drive check can be a whole lot of fun, especially when your Vanguard's restanding. So we have the Quintessential Quintuplet Itsuki Nakano. Top 7, reveal 2, 1 hand, 1 memory. We know it by now. Her other abilities. If you have 6 or more different quintuplets, all your front row gets 2k for each card and drop. I love that. Everybody gets 2k for each card and drop. Everything you've guarded with, everything your opponent's retired, everything that they've dominated and it's gone to drop. I'll never stop hating Shiranui. 2k for each. They're not gone in vain. It's wonderful. So there's that. And then at the end of the battle's unit attack, counterblast 1, stay in this unit, and it gets drive -2 until end of turn. That's where that 7 or more clause comes in handy. Even after you neg2 yourself drive checks, you can still have a drive check as long as you have 7 quints. So imagine a playing Gather Upon You, Wandering Souls, and the memories order. Like, you can't do that because it's 2 orders in 1 turn and this ain't no alchemy magic. But we have a way to get ourselves 4 drive checks from our Vanguard and a skill of when the Vanguard attacks, gain power. I don't believe that. Let me fact check that before I spread lies. Was that a hard once per turn? That is not. It's just, oh no, sorry, it's when stood. My bad. Who am I thinking of then? Oh, it's the non-triple R grade 2. And it is a once per turn. So we won't spread lies. It's not OP, it's just P. Speaking of P, that was a terrible transition. I did cop out and go with the Order Searcher. So we have Fairy of Flower and Nectar Coutier. Again, no Regalis piece. Take it from deck, drop, activate, bot deck. This is very important, again, to get our memories order. But it's also important because in this deck, I wanted to go with Rousing Rasp. So choose the top 5 of your cards for a counterblast. Sorry, mill the top 5 of your cards of your deck for a counterblast. Take 1, put it to hand, the rest to drop. We have a way to get back from drop. We have power gain from drop. And we have a way to get a card to our hand. If we know we're low on defense, we can grab a PG. If we know that we're 1 quintuplet away, we can get a quintuplet. Whatever it needs to be, we're there. So I like Rousing Rasp for sure. This may be, someone fact check me, but this may be the only non-divines card. No. I had that one from set 3 in Dragon Empire. I thought it was a cool little pick. I wanted to get cards to drop as fast as I could to get power. You get that power, you get the restanding Vanguard, you get 3, maybe 4 drive checks and for the turn as a whole. It's just nuts. I think this is the most powerful of the decks. It's got the most, I want to say it's got the most punch of any of them because restanding and big numbers. There's no either or. You get both. But with that, you guys, we are going to wrap it up here. Let's get a pretty little bride on there. There you go. That's how you end it. You don't end it with a germ on, or what are you? You're a skeleton. You're not a germ. Let's end it with the brides on the field. With that, you guys, I'm going to get out of here. Thank you for sticking around. If you stuck around the whole hour, I'm going to timestamp each bride. And this will be less than an hour in editing, but hey, it is what it is. Again, Deck Check Vanguard podcast. We're everywhere, including this YouTube channel, at Deck Check VG Pod on Twitter, or me at Woodland Docs on Twitter. You can also say hi to me. I say hi back to most people. With that, thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you in something in the future. From now, bye.